Hi, 8th grade. We are doing Chapter 6, Section 3, Linear Functions. So I do need you to grab this graphic organizer, and I want you to be turned to page 258 in your book. Remember, you can always pause the video if I go too fast for you to write things down. But I do want you to have a quick little refresher about what we did in 6.2. In 6.2, we learned all about functions. We learned what makes a functional relationship. We learned about how to represent functions using equations, words, tables, mapping diagrams, and graphing. And the big gist I wanted you to get out of this is that a function is just a line, okay? We know y equals mx plus b is just a line. That's all a function is, okay? So today we're going to just strictly talk about linear functions. They are functions that create a line. Now, a lot of this you guys should be able to understand pretty well because it is sort of review. It's just trying to let you guys know that what you've been doing this whole time is called a function, okay? So the very first thing we're going to look at in our book is the bolded word. It says a linear function is a function whose graph would make a non-vertical line, okay? So it's not going to be up and down. It's not going to be like x equals 2, up and down. It won't do that. It's going to be y equals mx plus b, okay? M is your slope, b is your y-intercept. And I do have a guest with me on this lesson today. So Zach, tell me what you know about linear functions.
Nothing.
Like nothing.
I'm sure at some point in my life I learned it, but
Do you
that was a long
remember?
time ago.
Do you remember y equals mx plus b? Do you remember hearing that?
No.
Okay, so this will be a great little crash course. Are you ready? You gotta put your phone away, man. I don't let my kids have phones. Okay, so example number 1. It says how to write a linear equation using a graph. Now, I'm gonna cheat, and this is how I'm super, super lucky that I have an iPad. You guys don't. I'm so, so sorry. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a screenshot of this. I'm going to go and copy it. But then I'm going to hop over to my graphic organizer. So like I said, this is how I'm lucky. You're not. I'm going to select this little doodad right here and delete it. And then I'm going to paste in the one I just copied. So I'm so sorry, guys. But on your graph, the one I just deleted, please pause the video and plot these points on there for me. Okay? You got 4, 3, 2, 0, 0, -3, -2, -6. So plot those points on that graph. And then once you're done with that, then we can, talk about what's next. So pause the video, do that nonsense. All right. Now you've pressed play. Okay, great. So now let's figure this out. Here's what the question is asking. It's saying, given that graph, I want you to create a linear function. Create a linear function. And guess what, guys? We've been doing this for 3 chapters now. When you are creating a linear function, all you're doing is creating a y equals mx plus b equation. How easy is that? So Zach, I'm going to give you a quick little crash course. M is the slope of a line. Slope of a line is how steep it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
B is your y-intercept. Intercept, you know what intercept means.
Mm-hmm.
When you intercept something, you catch it, you're like, you've crossed it. So the y-intercept is where you cross the y-axis, yeah. So that's going to be my y-intercept, right?
Yeah.
So all of you kids out there, y-intercept is what? -3. So let's go ahead and plug that -3 in for my equation. Let me grab a different color. Boop. Okay, so I've got y equals, I need to find the m, but I know I've got the x stays constant, plus -3. All right, now, my kids at home, you guys know how to find slope. You have 2 ways to find it. You can either pick 2 points on the graph, right, and count the rise over the run to find the slope. What is the rise? 1, 2, 3. Now, Zach, what's the run?
1, 2.
Okay, so slope is always a fraction. So slope is up 3 over 2, and it's positive. So I could say the slope is 3/2. We like fractions, even if they're improper, we don't care. 3/2 x plus -3. You're done, you guys. That was it. That's literally it. Now, how could you have created a linear function if, let's say, they didn't give you the graph? What if they just gave you 2 ordered pairs? Well, don't panic, guys. You still just have to find the y-intercept and the slope. A quick little refresher. How would you find slope of 2 ordered pairs if you couldn't, count the rise over the run? You take the change in y's over the change in x's. And remember, change means subtract. Zach, do you remember which one of these is the x and which one's the y?
The second was the X. The second was the X, right?
No.
First one was the Y.
It's actually x comma y. So if I said I want the change in y's, I'm going to take 3 minus 0.
Mm-hmm.
What is 3 minus 0?
3.
Okay. Now I'm going to do the same thing, change in x's. What is 4 minus 2?
2.
2. Did I get the same slope that I got if I did rise over the run? Yeah. So remember, if they don't give you the graph, but they give you 2 ordered pairs, you can always find slope by finding change in y's over change in x. All right, back to the book. That's what you're supposed to do if they give you a graph. Now, example 2 says, well, what happens if I give you this table, and now I want you to find me a linear function? All right, so once again, I'm so sorry, children, that I have the ease of doing this and you don't. But I'm going to go ahead and just select that table, take a screenshot, copy it, and then I'm going to go pop it in over here. I know you guys have this extra graph, and I know that you can't just get rid of it like I can. So let's go ahead and go down to this extra space right here. See that little bar at the bottom? Go ahead and I'll paste it in. You guys draw this table, okay? Draw that little chart for me. And now here's how you write a linear function. From a, what are they calling that? A table?
Mm-hmm.
A table. Okay, so writing a linear function from a table is just like what I was trying to get at over here with taking 2 ordered pairs and solving it without the graph. So a table shows ordered pairs. This is your first ordered pair, -3, 9. This is your next ordered pair, -2, 7. What's the next ordered pair, Zach?
-1, 5.
Good, and what's the last one?
0, 3.
Good. Okay, so those are the ordered pairs that are shown in that table. Now, if those are the ordered pairs that are shown, couldn't I technically pick any of them and try to find change in y's over change in x's, and that would get me slope? Yeah, you totally could do that. And then the last one is kids are going to start panicking and going, what about the b? Because remember, b is your y-intercept. But look over here. Y-intercept always has a 0 in for the x-coordinate. Do I have a coordinate that has a 0 in for x? I do. That little guy right there, right? So what is the y-intercept? 3. So could I write a y equals mx plus b equation just by given this table? Totally. Y equals, I'll find m in a second, I'll put the x there. I'm going to put the y-intercept is 3. Let's go find slope. Slope is the change in y's over the change in x's. Does it matter which ones I pick? No, as long as I go the same directions, right? Mm-hmm. So what I like to do is I like to just say, let's just take 9 minus 7. What is 9 minus 7?
2.
Ooh, what is going on? Oh, that's why. 9 minus 7 is 2. What is -3 minus -2?
-1.
Yeah, good job. You figured that out fast. See, I tell my kids that that's a double negative. That thing flies over and makes it into a plus. So now it's actually -3 plus 2, which would get you still -1. Now, I could write my slope as -2 over 1, But that seems a little silly since negative 2 over 1 is the same thing as just negative 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's my equation. Y equals negative 2x plus 3. And we can go back to the book to make sure I got it right. Negative 2x plus 3. All right, to make sure that you guys are fully understanding this, let's do the on your owns together. So you guys can grab a whiteboard, or you can just like sit back and listen, test this on your own, see how you do. But here's a graph. I want you to write me a linear function, aka y equals mx plus b. Okay, so Zach, b stands for the
Y-intercept.
Who's the y-intercept?
-1.
Okay, so I have y equals mx plus b. I'm going to go put that -1 in for the b.
Mm-hmm.
So now I have y equals mx minus 1. Now I got to go find m. Do you remember what m is?
No.
What m is the
Slope.
Slope. And how do you find slope? Well, you can literally just count rise over run,
Mm-hmm.
right? Okay, so to get from this point to this point, how much do I have to rise?
1.
Okay. Now, how much do I have to run?
2.
2. But if I'm going that direction,
-2.
yep, that's going to be a negative number. So my slope is -1/2. There's your equation that goes to that line. Guys, we learned that in chapter 3. We're in chapter 6 and we're still doing the same stuff. All right. 2. I want you to create a linear function, aka y equals mx plus b, from the table. Did they give you a y-intercept?
Yes.
What is the
I thought you were
y-intercept?
waiting for me to answer. 2.
Good. That would be it right there. X would be 0, 2 is the y-intercept, so I'm going to go plug a 2 in for the b. Now I got to figure out what the m is. Y equals, now what's my slope? Well, change in y's over change in x's, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just take the first set. What's 2 minus 2?
0.
What's negative 2 minus negative 1?
-1.
Now, if 0 is ever in the numerator, 0 divided by anything is just
Mm-hmm.
0. So what that means is 0x, if a line doesn't have a slope, if the slope is 0, what kind of a line is that? If I had a ramp and I said it had no slope, what kind of a ramp is that? A flat one?
Sidewalk.
Sidewalk, yeah, exactly. Okay, so basically if you look at this and you see how all the y's are 2's, that means if I were to graph this, look at what this would look like. -2, 2, -1, 2, 0, 2, 1, 2. See how the line is completely flat?
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that that's what it was going to look like because I got a 0 for my slope. Y equals, and I don't put 0x, guys. That would be silly because anything times 0 is just 0, right? So can I just erase it and say y equals 2, the y-intercept? Yeah, pretty easy. All right, and then there's this gorgeous, long, real-life example question, which I know you guys are just chomping at the bit to read, but luckily we're going to save that for another day. All right, guys, here is your exit ticket. Are you ready? Grab an exit ticket. At the top of it, you're going to write 6.3 and your name. All right, 2 questions, guys. You guys are going to do number... Let's do this one. Ooh, this one's so tricky. Okay. Let's do number 7 and number 10. I'm on page 261 in your book. I want you to do these 2 questions. All you're doing is creating a linear function. And remember, a linear function is just y equals mx plus b. So as soon as you figure out what the y-intercept is, then just go figure out what the slope is, right? You can do that for both of these. I see a y-intercept in both of them. I know you can find the slope by taking, well, you could take y's minus y's and then over x. But look at number 7. The slope is what? You can already tell. Hey, Zach, do you know what the slope is for number 7?
3.
That's
Zero.
the y-intercept.
Yeah, sorry, 0.
Yeah, slope is 0 because it's flat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys, good luck. Number 7 and number 10, turn them in, and then hopefully I'll see you guys soon.